Hello and blessings to you. My name is Nikki, and my prayer is that every word spoken here points directly to Jesus and His amazing grace. I want to start today with a story, and it's a very personal story because I think about Mary when she was pregnant with Jesus, and it says she pondered things in her heart. I know what that feeling is, where it's like we don't want to gatekeep, but it is so precious that sharing it almost feels like giving a part of it away. And that's what this is. And I share this with you because it's so deeply personal and incredibly powerful that I can't keep it to myself, yet I wish I could ponder it in my heart a little bit longer. So when I was going through an incredibly difficult time in my life, I had never had like a panic attack, and I really feel like my whole life I have been treated really well by friends and my family. My dad loves me very much. He treats me like a queen, and my relationships are similar. There was a couple of hiccups along the way, but for the most part, it's just been really a great childhood. and then I started going through these difficult seasons, and it was a little baffling to me because I hadn't really ever walked through that, and it was hammering me, man, one after another after another. And so anyway, I had never had a panic attack, and I had one, and it was the most absolutely bizarre feeling in the world, where I couldn't breathe, and it felt real, and I could feel like the synapses firing in my brain, and I was seeing things that weren't there, and it was really a unreal kind of experience. And I couldn't sleep, and I couldn't eat, and I was just a mess, just an absolute mess. And I remember that one night, because I do ask God for dreams and visions, and I never knew you could ask Him for those things. I thought that these very spiritual people would just have them, and God would be a God of revelation, and He would give them to them. I never knew you could ask. Well, anyway, I heard somewhere that someone said you can ask for that, and I was like, okay. And so as I asked for it one night, Jesus came, not in physical form, but in comfort to me. And I had a dream, but I wasn't asleep, so a vision. And it felt like a dream. And where I was on a boat, and I was in the middle of an ocean. It was dark, and I was the only person on the boat, and it was a sailboat, and the sails were torn, and the waves were crashing, and I was screaming for help. And I mean, literally, gutturally screaming for help. And there wasn't anybody there. And so it was very distressing. And as I panicked in the dream / vision, I saw that there was like a light coming from underneath the boat, where like the passenger quarters would be. And I'm of course soaking wet in my vision, and I come down, and Jesus is down there, and I was like, what are you doing? And he's like, I haven't been on a lot of boats, but this particular boat, it was mostly just like a bed underneath there. That's all I saw in the vision anyway. But there were some candles, and the experience of being on top of the boat outside in the elements was horrifying. Just absolutely horrible experience. But down in that bed part is actually very comforting because it was warm, it was well lit. The rocking of the waves felt rhythmic, and it felt like soothing, like how a mom would rock a child and soothe them. And I laid down on the bed, and I didn't have any fear that we were going to drown. It was like I just needed to go to sleep. And for weeks, whenever I would start to panic, I would close my eyes, and I was back in the boat. And it makes me kind of tear up because it was so profound and peaceful when I felt really chaotic. And so if I was at work and I couldn't feel like I could move on, I would just close my eyes and I was back in the boat, and it was rocking and it was quiet and it was candlelit, and Jesus was there and he was like watching over me. And literally for weeks, I would just close my eyes if I felt like I wasn't going to make it. And when I did, I was right back on that boat, and it was so good, so good. And then after a few weeks, I kind of got into this really good place where it was like, when you need to calm down, you have to take a breath. It's that kind of thing. It's that same kind of response. I was closing my eyes and I feel the peace again, and God was there, and it was good. And then one day I closed my eyes. I was at work. I'll never forget it. And I closed my eyes and Jesus was waking me up. So I'm literally having this open vision, still on the boat, and he's like, Nikki, it's time to get up. And I, like any teenager, was like, no, I'm not getting up. I'm not getting up. No way. No, because that means going back out into that storm that I cannot handle. And so he was carefully nudging my shoulder, just like, Nikki, it's time to get up. It's time to get up. And I was like, I can't do it. I can't go out there again. He's like, it's okay. I'll be with you. But I can't, Lord. And the next time I went to go close my eyes, it wasn't the same experience. I was still making the choice that I had to get up and get out of there. But the peace, not that the peace was removed, but it just didn't bring that same comfort. And I just knew that it was time to get up and start moving forward. And so I took a deep breath and I was like, okay, God, here we go. And in the open vision, I walked out of that hole, or whatever that is called. And we walked out, and of course the storm was still raging. But this time I was with the one who calms the winds and the waves. And it didn't scare me like it did before. And so I tell you that to say that when God gives you the privilege of a vision or the comfort or the peace, don't dismiss it because it's weird. Don't dismiss it because other people don't have it or whatever. And I'm not talking about getting all mystical for experiences. I'm saying it was a lifeline, and I share it with you because you can ask God for a dream or a vision, and you can ask him for a lifeline like that, and he will give it to you. So God, thank you for my friend today. Thank you that I was able to share this very deeply personal experience with you, with them, so that it can bring hope, that it can bring real transformation in their life. And if they are hanging on by a thread, God, I ask that you go in their boat and that you help them, because you helped me. And I'm so grateful. These are happy tears. I am so grateful that you did not leave me, and that you never leave us, and that you continue to just be so good to us in the midst of our struggle, because in our weakness, you are strong. So thank you for bearing with me today as we share this wonderful experience together. And I can't wait to talk to you soon. God bless.